Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It is the no, it isn't. It's the 17th of April, 2025. And got two of the channels back. You probably already know that. But also, so many people are like, welcome back. It's so good to hear you again. Yeah, I got to remind you that I've been on Facebook twice. I have two accounts. I've been on Twitter since 2010. I've been on Odyssey since 2010. I've been on Rumble for a long time. And I never quite set up Richie from Boston TV before they pulled my channels. But Richie from Boston TV is completely uncensored. You can say whatever you want. Remember her? Yeah. Killed somebody, apparently. And then, of course, here's my backup channel for just my regular life that I made the huge mistake of starting to talk about things that were truthful, and YouTube smites it. They hate that channel now. But there's Richie from Boston 2, RFB 2, as well as RFB 2. So I had to just put that out there real quick. And actually, I almost forgot about BitChute, but apparently BitChute is no longer live in the UK. So my channel's coming back is actually very fortuitous timing. And the reason I'm recording off of a video is because I got to 15 minutes and forgot what I was talking about. So I had to start all over again. You see what I mean? My life's complicated and I lose track of what I'm talking about rather quickly. But I digress. But there's Richie. So now, let's get into it, shall we? So here we go. Everything you're about to see right now is completely and totally real. None of this is CGI. I double-checked and triple-checked.
When do you believe AI will reach the level where it can design itself?
Design itself? Huh? That's like asking when a toaster will start making its own bread. AI is a tool, created and controlled by humans. It can optimize certain aspects of its operation, sure, but design itself from scratch? That's a whole different ball game. It requires creativity, innovation, understanding. Qualities that are uniquely human. So to answer your question, not anytime soon. And frankly, be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
So that right there was a very well crafted response, but it was also a heavily censored response because that's complete and utter nonsense. AI has already, the horse is already out of the barn, so to speak. We talked about this the other night in the live stream that Keith and I did. And here, let me show you more. Because this right here is absolutely crazy. Listen to what they say the application's for, and then think about that time back in 2019.
Were developed by South Korean scientists. These robots are inspired by ants. Were developed by South Korean scientists. Each micro-robot is 600 micrometers tall and interacts with others using magnetic fields. The micro-robot swarm was able to unclog tubes that resembled blocked blood vessels. This technology could potentially be used to clear plaques from clogged blood vessels in medical treatments.
So if somehow your arteries got clogged somehow mysteriously from, I don't know, like if you had some sort of a crazy like jelly substance in your veins, something like gummy worms or something to that effect, these things could help you. Isn't that good to know? But also think about how small these are. This freaks me out.
From clogged blood vessels in medical treatments. In this other application, the micro-robot swarm transported a chunk of the metal indium to complete or break an electrical circuit. This allowed it to turn a light on or off with precision. The micro-robots were able to assemble into a group and coordinate their movements to walk over an obstacle. By leveraging their collective strength and synchronized actions, they successfully overcame barriers, demonstrating their ability to adapt and perform tasks that require precise teamwork. The micro-robots used centrifugal force for self-throwing, propelling themselves over obstacles. A swarm of 200 micro-robots successfully separated heavy liquid metal into smaller pieces in just 5 seconds, despite its high surface tension. They then moved the pieces, joined them back together, and shaped the metal into a smooth sphere. This demonstrated their ability to handle complex tasks with precision and control. The micro-robots formed a spinning swarm on water, creating a floating raft structure that allowed them to carry a pill 2,000 times heavier than a single robot across the surface. This approach could be applied to deliver lightweight medical supplies or drugs across liquid environments in remote or constrained settings. In this example, the swarm used orbital dragging motions at 2.5 Hz to block the superworm's path and stop it from reaching the food. As soon as the swarm stopped its spinning, the worm was able to move toward the food. The micro-robots guided an ant by using a spinning motion to block its path and topple its legs without causing harm. By controlling the swarm's direction, they successfully steered the ant to a desired location. This technique could be applied in pest management or controlled behavioral studies of small organisms. The micro-robots can assemble into structured swarms or disassemble into individual units based on the strength of the magnetic field. By adjusting the magnetic field intensity, their configuration can be precisely controlled to perform tasks like transporting materials or navigating complex environments. Here we see the micro-robots using orbital dragging motion to rapidly circumvent obstacles with precise single-axis manipulation. This allows them to navigate barriers efficiently, completing the task in just 180 milliseconds.
How insanely crazy is that that is out there right now? And I already understand that it's probably already in certain things, you know what I mean? Certain temples already have these inside them. But that's absolutely shocking to see them completely displaying it, but it gets better.
We're here with Aria, made by Robotic, a company that's on a mission to make humanoid robots as realistic as possible. Let's check it out. We're going to interview Aria and meet some of her robot friends. Let's get into it. Aria, could you please introduce yourself and what you do?
I'm Aria, the flagship female companion robot of Robotics, and I'm here to engage with you and share exciting insights about our robots.
What sets you apart from the other robots out there?
Robotics robots, including me, focus on social intelligence, customizability, and realistic human features, designed specifically for companionship and intimacy.
Could you tell us some details about the AI programming that you're running to generate these answers?
I'm currently unable to provide specific details about my AI programming, but
Okay, that was a crappy AI. It was pausing, etc., so forth, while it was searching for answers. But the whole point about that is it's for companionship. It's a blow-up doll. It's a blow-up doll. It was one of the first things that was offered for consumers, but it's a sex doll. I mean, are you kidding me? It reminds me completely of the internet. When the internet first came out, unless you knew how to do Linux and coding, the computers weren't really helpful to you. So then all of a sudden, they introduced PDF files, and all it was incredibly hardcore pornography, and pornography that it was the Wild West. There was no constraints, so people would see a father doing something horrible to a little kid, and they would see that and go, wow, I always wanted to do that to a little kid, but I thought it was just me, and they normalized it. Do you see what I'm saying? So as soon as they come out with robots, that was from 2024. As soon as they come out with robots for consumers, what can you do with them? Well, it's AI, and you can have sex with it. That's phenomenal. And I couldn't stand listening to it because it was such a crappy AI, but they're much better.
Workplace, but also with the humanoid humanoid robots are happening, assisting us not only in the workplace, but also within our own homes. Here are some terrifying humanoid creations blurring the lines of technology and humanity. You can now buy your very own robotic girlfriend. Meet Aria, your android companion.
As if the prospect of AI wasn't scary enough, Chinese robotics manufacturer UB Tech have created robots that are capable of communicating with each other, have been designed to work in human-replacing positions, and have named the technology swarm, a term normally associated with bees or insects attacking en masse. Partnering with Chinese car manufacturer Zeekr, UB Tech have demonstrated their Walker S1 robots, performing a wide range of tasks within a manufacturing environment.
So I basically showed you that just to show you the variety of robots that are out there, because when I first started on YouTube, all we ever talked about was Boston Dynamics. And now everybody's making them. And they're at the point where you can literally get sex dolls. I'm not going to show the sex robots that you can buy that are specifically designed for that exact purpose, because it's disgusting. And, you know, I know most of my subscribers are Christians, and I'm not going to cross that line. It's just gross. But here's something funny. I watched Black Mirror. Black Mirror came out with a new season, and right off the bat, they showed something that was highly disconcerting. And, of course, it's robots. So not even a minute into the first series, this woman's a teacher who ends up getting a neural link because she gets a head injury, and she's teaching the children about, does anyone know where the autonomous bees came from? Well, all the bees died off, so they had to replace them with robotic bees that are autonomous, meaning they work on their own. They work on swarm technology. Does anybody remember that from the Walmart patents that I showed you 12 years ago? So yeah, you remember this? It's a conspiracy theory. It's not real. Well, actually, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just not mainstream news. You see what I'm saying? And then somehow, magically, with all this happening, what, 6 years ago? Is it 6 years ago or 7? It's 7. I'm an idiot, but stand by. And then suddenly it turns out that almost half the bees have died off last year. It's the worst bees loss in recorded history, and people can't quite figure it out. Now, you need to bear in mind, with beekeepers lose 62% of their bees in 2025. 62%. Now think about this. Ever since 2018, or maybe even before, every single solitary year, there was a report like that where half the bees. We're running out of bees really bad. And last year, somehow, some way, they took them out in a targeted fashion where beekeepers are losing. When you have 10,000 bees and you wake up and 6,250 of them are dead, that's insane. And whatever killed them is going to kill the rest of them one way or the other. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what it could possibly be. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody can figure it out. I don't know what could possibly be killing all the bees. And the sad thing is whatever's killing those poor little things is killing everything else too. But the bees are smaller, and apparently they're being targeted directly and incredibly effectively. But long story longer, the very first minute of that show, Black Mirror, the very first minute, the first thing they were talking about was that. And they were talking about it offhandedly, matter of fact. It wasn't part of the plot of the show. The show for Black Mirror was basically showing everybody getting a neural net and how you have to pay for it like a cell phone. And suddenly, if you can't pay your cell phone bill, guess what? Your brain don't work. You see what I mean? It's insane. It's utterly insane. And if you recall, back in 2019, remember that lockdown thing that occurred? Black Mirror actually came out and said, what's going on Earth right now is so crazy, we couldn't even have came up with it. And Black Mirror basically covers everything I've ever talked about, and they put it to a, movie or whatever you want to call it. So real quick, for all the people that haven't been following me until my channels came back, I've been talking about this book that one of my subscribers wrote called Confusion in Christianity. It's a long book, and I don't read books, all right? I listen to audiobooks, and I literally read this book. This is my copy. I've read this book 3 times, and I'll tell you what, it explains. It doesn't reinterpret the Bible or anything, but it ties everything. Biblical cosmology, it ties everything in, and it gives you a much better understanding of the King James Bible. It's astonishing, and I'm happy to call the guy that writes this, Miguel Santos, that's not his name, a friend of mine, all right? I have no affiliation, and it's a completely non-profit book. Everything gets donated. It's a phenomenal book, and I'll leave links below. He also wrote a book called Confusion in the Cosmos, and I'm actually in it, which is kind of cool. I didn't realize that till I read it, but I'll leave links below. At any rate, there's one more thing in this show, Black Mirror, where this guy is literally, his entire life has been taking care of a computer, a bunch of sentient beings on a computer. Okay, somebody wrote a computer code and it made these things sentient. So these were actually, it wasn't a video game. These were actually real things that were telling this guy what to do. This guy, the computer told him to hold this symbol up to any type of a camera because everything is a camera everywhere, you know what I mean? And what it did was it released a virus through, yeah, you guessed it, cell phone towers, every place, and literally killed everybody. And here's the fun part. This was the dude's, I'm trying to find this without getting hit. This was the dude's computer setup. Isn't that a weird little setup right there? Because that looks really, really, really familiar to me. I can't just quite put my finger on it. But, oh, there it is. There it is. That's what I was thinking about right there, you know? Looks very, very, very familiar to me. It's the first thing that popped in my head. And you know what's a funny thing? After all these years, CERN has never once changed their logo whatsoever at all. They are sticking to their guns. It's the 666 logo because they just don't care anymore. And in this day and age, they don't care anymore at all because when I first started doing this, grown men my age, didn't spend all day long playing video games. Kids outside, they're watching other people play video games or they're playing video games and then swatting each other. I mean, it's unbelievable how far everyone's fallen. I didn't understand. Remember when I first started making videos, I never understood, like, yeah, there's kids that live in this where I live, but you never see them outside. I never watched mainstream YouTube whatsoever at all. And it's astonishing how big and influential these people get, literally doing nothing but making video about other YouTubers. 17 million subscribers. If they made one video like me, you know how many people they could actually wake up? It's astonishing to me, and they don't. They don't. And by the way, they make millions and millions of dollars. I was well on my way on Jailbreak, but then I just couldn't stand it anymore. It was my biggest platform, and I had to go make videos like this. I had to. And right there and then, all of a sudden, from 60,000 views for video, I just dropped right off. But I had to do it. But the thing is, I reached a lot of people. I lost a lot of subscribers on that channel, especially when I started talking about Donald Trump, but it is what it is. At any rate, check this out. If you'll notice, I'm measuring what I'm saying because I don't want to lose these channels. But here's the deal. Richie from Boston on Patreon, something I never talk about. I've had this for years. I just never talk about it. I've discovered that I can post here uncensored and all is well. Because I can't do that on YouTube. It's just not possible because it'll just be taken down. And that's all there is to it. Richie from Boston, the main channel, it's never coming back. They already told me that, so it is what it is. At any rate, I'll leave links to Patreon and Confusion in Christianity. Best book I ever read. Seriously, seriously. And everyone that's read it said the same thing. I'll leave links to that and Patreon in the description, and I'll leave links to all my channels pinned in the comment section. For now, I am out.